Good instructions given by the ref in the early going. Mike gets him with the right hand, and ATN is down. He was really nailed with a...
The anticipation was electric as fans worldwide eagerly awaited the fight between YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul and the legendary Mike Tyson. Both fighters brought different strengths to the ring. Jake Paul, though younger and with fewer years of experience, had built a reputation as an aggressive and unrelenting fighter. On the other hand, Mike Tyson was a symbol of fear and dominance in the boxing world, with decades of experience that had earned him the title, the baddest man on the planet. This was more than a fight, it was a clash of generations, skill, and raw power. As the fight day approached, Mike Tyson sent out a chilling warning to Jake Paul. Tyson, at 58 years old, had a reputation that preceded him. Known for his relentless drive, brutal knockouts, and his ability to crush opponents with ease, Tyson was still a figure to be feared in the boxing world. Jake Paul, confident in his own abilities, responded with a promise to defeat the King of Violence. It was clear that neither fighter was going to back down. The bell rang, signaling the start of one of the most hyped fights in recent memory. Jake Paul came out strong, throwing quick jabs and powerful right hands. He was determined to prove that he could hold his own against the boxing legend. In the first 2 rounds, Jake Paul's strategy seemed to be working. He landed clean shots on Tyson, who appeared slightly slower due to his age. However, as the fight progressed, it became evident that Paul was facing an uphill battle. Tyson's experience began to show in the 3rd round. His footwork, honed over decades of training, cut off Jake's escape routes, forcing the younger fighter into uncomfortable situations. Tyson's strategy was clear: break down Paul with body shots and relentless pressure. Every punch from Tyson was delivered with precision and power, and Paul began to feel the weight of each blow. Paul, to his credit, did not back down easily. Despite being hit with Tyson's devastating punches, he continued to fight back. But Tyson's relentless aggression was overwhelming. By the 4th round, it became clear that Jake Paul was struggling to keep up. The power of Tyson's punches was taking a toll, and Paul's movements became slower and more defensive. The crowd watched in awe as Tyson, even at his age, controlled the fight with ease. His jab was sharp, and his combinations were lethal. Paul tried to mount an offense, but every attempt was met with Tyson's superb defense. Tyson slipped punches with the same grace and skill he had shown in his prime, and his counters were devastating. Every shot to Paul's body visibly drained his energy, and by the 5th round, Paul was struggling to keep his guard up. Tyson's dominance became even more apparent in the 6th round. His eyes gleamed with the intensity of a fighter who had been through countless battles. He knew that victory was within reach, and he pressed forward with even more aggression. Paul, battered and bruised, tried desperately to fend off Tyson's attacks, but it was clear that the end was near. With a flurry of punches, Tyson sent Paul crashing into the ropes. The crowd rose to their feet, sensing the knockout. Tyson's punches were relentless, each one finding its mark with terrifying accuracy. Paul's corner watched in horror as their fighter struggled to stay on his feet. Then, Tyson unleashed a devastating right uppercut, followed by a left hook. Paul crumbled to the canvas, dazed and unable to recover. The referee began the count, but it was clear that Jake Paul was not getting back up. Tyson had won, and the crowd erupted in cheers. It was a knockout victory that reminded everyone why Mike Tyson was one of the greatest boxers of all time. At 58 years old, Tyson had proven that he still had the strength, skill, and power that had made him a champion. As Paul lay on the canvas, struggling to regain his composure, Tyson stood tall, his arms raised in victory. This fight was not just about the win, it was about showing the world that despite his age, Tyson could still dominate in the ring. His victory over Paul was a testament to his legendary status and his unyielding fighting spirit. Following the fight, social media exploded with reactions. Fans from all corners of the globe shared their thoughts on the fight, with many praising Tyson for his incredible performance. Comments flooded in under Tyson's videos, with fans calling him unstoppable and urging him to keep going. Some even joked about Tyson eating his opponents for breakfast, referencing his ferocious reputation in the ring. Jake Paul, despite his loss, was also praised for stepping into the ring with a legend like Tyson. Many admired his courage and determination, though it was clear that he had been outmatched. Paul's team acknowledged the defeat but expressed pride in his performance, noting that he had stood toe-to-toe with one of the greatest fighters in history. Tyson, on the other hand, was gracious in victory. In his post-fight interview, he spoke about his respect for Jake Paul and commended him for taking on the challenge. However, Tyson also made it clear that he wasn't finished yet. When asked if this would be his final fight, Tyson smiled and said, "We'll see." The crowd roared in approval, eager for the possibility of seeing the boxing legend in the ring once again. The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson will go down in history as one of the most talked about boxing events of the decade. It was a clash between youth and experience, raw power and refined skill. While Jake Paul had shown promise, it was Tyson's experience and boxing IQ that ultimately secured the victory. For fans of the sport, it was a thrilling reminder of why Mike Tyson remains one of the most respected and feared fighters in the world. The fight also sparked conversations about the future of boxing. Many wondered if more exhibition matches featuring retired legends would become the norm. Tyson's performance showed that, despite the years, some fighters never lose their edge. With the growing popularity of exhibition fights, it seems likely that more legends will step back into the ring for one last dance. As for Jake Paul, his journey in the boxing world is far from over. While this defeat was a setback, Paul has shown that he is willing to take on tough challenges and push himself to the limit. His loss to Tyson will undoubtedly serve as motivation for his future fights. Paul has made it clear that he wants to be taken seriously as a boxer, and this fight, despite the outcome, has earned him respect from fans and fighters alike. Looking ahead, the question on everyone's mind is, what's next for Mike Tyson? Will he continue to fight, or will this victory mark the end of his legendary career? Tyson himself has remained coy about his future plans, but one thing is certain. If he does decide to fight again, the world will be watching. In conclusion, the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was a spectacle like no other. It brought together fans of all ages and backgrounds, united in their love for boxing. Tyson's victory was a powerful reminder of his place in the sport's history, while Paul's resilience showed that he has a future in the ring. As the final bell rang and the dust settled, one thing was clear. The legacy of Mike Tyson continues to grow, and the world of boxing will never be the same.